Okay guys, so in the previous video we did a few animation with our character. So I'm just going to play it back to refresh your memory. Okay, so I'm going to render this. So I'm going to come to, there are other ways to export an animation in Moho. What I taught you guys before is a particular way to render one video at a time or one animation at a time. But in the case whereby you have a lot of programs, sorry, a lot of projects that you want to export at the same time, what you can do is to come down and go to Moho Exporter, or you can hit Ctrl B on your keyboard. So when you've done that, first of all, ensure that you have saved your work. So you can see this little pencil tool right here. It's telling me that my work is yet to be saved. So I'm going to hit Ctrl S on my keyboard. And then now when I hit go to the Moho exporter, you can see the particular project CR7 is right here. Okay, so there are a few things you can do here. You can um, if you already have a program that you've worked on, a project that you've worked on that is not here, instead of opening it in the Moho and then importing it here, you can simply click the add button and then um, choose the project from your Explorer. Once you hit open, you have it here. Next thing you can do is you can remove a project, or you can duplicate the project. Let's do a few settings here. You remember this setting from the first time we exported our animation, so the setting still remains the same. I'm not going to make any changes. I'm going to hit OK, and now I'm going to hit play here. So when I hit play, it will start exporting. So while this is exporting, we can get back and be working on our animation. So guys, let's look at our face. You can see our face is just static. There is no expression, no animation on the face. We've done bone animation. Let's look at how we can work on different things for this face. First, we're going to work on the eyes. We want these eyes to be able to blink and then move around, and for the eyeball to be able to move around. So we're going to come the CR7 um, to the CR7 bone layer, and then we're going to add a bone. The bone we're going to add is the bone that we're going to use to control the eyeball. So I'm going to just drag here. Oops. First, I'm going to have to select the bone that I want the eye control to be parented to. So I'm going to select this head bone, and then I'm going to add a bone here, and I'm going to name it the eyes. Okay. Next, guys. Now what I want to do is I want to bind just these eyeballs to this bone. So that when I move this eyeball around, so that when I move this bone around, the eyeballs are going to move. So I'm going to come to the head layer. This is where things begin to get a little bit interesting. I'm going to add this head layer to a group. And I'm going to name this group the head. All right, so I'm going to be separating these different parts of this um, head into different layers. So right now I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to call this the eyes. All right, so I could duplicate this and then delete everything else and leave just the eye. But instead of doing that, I'm just going to add a new layer here. Then I'm going to call this the eyes. Then I'm going to come here to the head, and I'll select just the eyes with the select point tool. I'm going to select just the eyes. Select this, hold down shift to make more selection. Then I'm going to come to edit and cut it. Okay, then I'll come here to the eye layer, come to the edit and paste it. So right now we have our eyes on the eye layer. Then we have the head on the head layer. We're still going to do the same thing when we get to the mouth, but for now, let's stick to the eyes. Okay, so for the eyes, guys, when we did our binding earlier, we bound everything. Um, we had to bind every part of this head to this bone. So you can see once I select the head, the bone gets highlighted. Okay, right now, I'm going to bind just the eyeballs to this particular bone so that when I move this bone, the eyeballs will move. So to do that, we remember how we did our um, remember how we did our point binding. So I'm going to select this bone, then select the eye layer, then I'm going to select the bind point tool, then I'll select just the eyeballs, then I'll hit bind points. Okay, so right now, guys, if you see, if we should move, give me a minute. If I should move this bone around, I didn't say rotate, or even if I should rotate the bone, oops, I think that's a mistake. The entire bone, the entire layer was bounded to this bone, which is not what I want to do. So I'm going to delete this keyframe. I don't want the entire layer to be bound. I want just the eyeballs to be bound to this. So I'm going to come back to the eyes, select this, and I'm going to hit unbind it. So let me select this bone. Okay, so it's just the eyeballs that are bounded to the bone. So I wonder what is going on. Let's try moving this bone around again. See, I have the same problem. So let's go ahead and fix that. So I'm going to come back to the eyes. Okay, so I'm going to select this bone here and I'll bind the other parts of the eyes to this bone. Remember the eyeballs are bounded to this bone. These the um, the other parts of the eyes are going to be bounded to this bone. So I'm going to select this bone, select the eye layer, select the bind point tool, hold down shift, click this bone, sorry, click this vector and click this and then hit bind layer. Okay, so guys, I think I figured out what the issue is. I think this bone has some strength on it which we didn't change, so you can see we have some strength on this bone. So I'm going to set it to 0. Okay, so right now if I should make some confirmation while I have the eye layer selected, when I select this bone, you can see that the white eye is highlighted. When I select this bone, just the eyeballs are selected. So if I should come to a point in my timeline and decide to move this around, you can see just the eyeballs are moving. Okay, so if I should move the position, you can see that the eyeballs are moving. There's a way we're going to ensure that these eyeballs don't come out when we start learning how to do masking. Okay, so that's it, guys. So we've learned how to bind these points, bind these eyeballs to this bone. So now this is the control for our um, eyeballs. Okay, and then when we move the head, the eyeballs move as well because this eyeballs control is parented to this bone. Okay, we've done that. So let's proceed. Next, we're going to learn how we can make this eye to blink. So to do that, I'm going to still select return back to um, frame 0, select this and add it um, to a group. And then we'll call this the eyes. Okay, so right now I'm going to introduce us to what we call switch layers. Okay, so switch layer, you use switch layers to have just one layer visible at a particular time. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to open a new layer, a new project, sorry, and then I'm going to create two shapes, a rectangle and a triangle. Oh, sorry, I'm going to create a new vector layer. Then I'm going to draw a rectangle in it, a triangle in it. So this is my triangle and this is my rectangle. Okay, so I'm going to call this my triangle, then call this my rectangle. All right, and right now you can see these two layers are visible at the same time. What if I want just one layer to be visible at the same time? And I don't want to be switching them off and on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer here called a switch layer. Right, so what switch layer does is that just one layer can be visible at a particular time. So I'm going to drag these two layers into it. So right now you see guys, I just have the um, rectangle layer visible. If I should select this, you can see the triangle is now visible. So it's just one layer that can be visible at a particular time. So if I want to animate off switch between each of the layers, I could come here, right click this, select the rectangle. So you can see there is a new keyframe here that shows that at this point there was a switch between the two layers. Okay, so that's the basic thing about switch layers, guys. You can have it, use it to switch between different layers. So I can even add a new layer here. Here I could draw a circle, right? So I could just have one of them visible at a particular time. Okay, so let's get to our character. Now what I want to do is I want to have both a closed and an open eye in inside the switch layer. So what I can do is I could create a switch layer and drag the eyes into it. That's one way of doing it. Or I can simply select this eye layer that I already have here, that I have my eyes inside. Right click and say convert to switch. So right now nothing really happened because we have just one layer inside the eyes switch layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. So right now I have two eyes. So I'm going to call this the open, then call this close. Okay, so for the closed layer, I'm going to this, delete this. Then I'm going to select these 2 points, come here, pick it, do the same for these two, come here and pick it. Okay, so now I'm going to select all this layer and squash it down so that it looks like she's blinked or he has blinked. So you see right now we have open, close, open, closed, open, closed, open, closed. Right, so guys, that's it. We have our character. So now our character can blink. So if you want the character to blink, you can come to the 12th frame and switch. I could use this to switch tool here, switch layer tool here, to switch from one layer to another. So I can come here and select close. So you can see close is here. You come here and select open, or I could right click, select close, right click, select open. Still another way, I could hold down my alt key and click whichever one I want, and I could have them switch. So here I could come here, hold down alt and click close. So right now you can see the character is going to be blinking while he's jumping. Right, just like before, we can cycle this. So we have this cycled from 0 to the 24th frame. So we could have our character blinking. All right, right now I don't want the close him to close his eye for long, so I'm going to drag this out, shorten the duration of the closed eye. So we have this. So he blinks, blinks, then he's playing. All right, guys. So that's the first control for our face. The next we're going to work on is still using the same principle that we learned. We're going to work on different mouth shapes. So this is us getting into designing our mouth shapes and getting it ready for animation. So I'm going to close the eyes. And then this head layer, you can see that our mouth is also in the head layer. First, let me go ahead and hide this bone. So I'm going to select this bone and say shy bone. Okay, so I've hit the bone. Okay, so right here, I'm going to come and create a new layer and say, call this my mouth. So I'm going to come to the head layer, and like before, I'll select just the mouth, come to draw, cut it, come to edit and cut it. Then I'll come to the mouth layer and then paste it. So we have it here on a different layer. So I'm going to add it to a group and then call this my mouth. So we have one of our mouth shapes. So guys, just like for the eyes, we created a close and an open eyes. So we're going to come to the mouth now. I'm going to create different mouth shapes. Okay, different mouth shapes. So we're going to call this I usually just give them numbers. So this is going to be, let's say we have 4 mouth shapes. So this should be around the let's say this is the second mouth shape. So the first mouth shape is going to be, so let me create a vector layer, bring it under, call this 1. So for the 1, I'm just maybe going to, instead of drawing a new layer, a new mouth shape, I'm going to copy this, Ctrl C, copy, come here and paste it. What I want here is I want this to be closed a little. So let me turn this off. So I just want this closed. So I'm just going to, close it up a little. Maybe I could delete this. I could have it centralized somewhere here. So this is the open. This is the close. This is 2. This is 3. This is 1. This is 2. I'll just duplicate this, make a duplicate of this, and then I'm going to call it number 3. So for the third one, I'm going to make it even bigger than the second. So let's open this wide. I'm going to move this teeth up. Let's make sure it's centralized. So I'm going to move it down a little. Okay. So the last one we're going to work on is now going to be the closed mouth. So I'm going to turn this off. So I'm going to make a duplicate of this, duplicate this. I'm going to leave this as 1. Then the bottommost is going to be closed. This is going to be our closed mouth. So I'm going to just close this down. Let me turn this off. So this is closed. So we have one. I'm going to increase the size of this one. It's too small. We have two. We have three. Okay, guys. So there's no particular rule on what your mouth shape is going to supposed to look like. Depends on what works for you. Okay, so we have the closed. We have the open. Now, just like before, we're going to convert this to a switch layer. So now we have just one mouth shape that could show one mouth shape at a time. So there's something I usually like to add. Let me add a tongue to this. So I'm going to drag this down. Let's just add a tongue. Okay, I'm gonna use my select shape tool. Come here and then I'm going to change this to red. I'm going to copy it. Copy. Come to number 2. I think we can add a tongue to number 2. So I'm going to paste it here. Then I'll just simply adjust it. So we have then the closed mouth. Okay, so right now guys, you can see we already have a conversation going. So if we want this character to be talking, oops, we have an issue. We did not bind our mouth. Since we created a new mouth layer, we're supposed to bind it to a bone. That's why the mouth is misbehaving. So we're going to come to bone. With this selected, we're going to come to bone and we say show all bones. So just so we can get this bone back. So we're going to select the mouth layer, select the bind layer tool, and then bind it to this bone. Okay, so now our character's mouth can move with our character. Okay, so we're going to just do a little bit of mouth movement here. So we're going to move every two frame. We would open the mouth, use Alt and click close. Move 2 frames, 1, 2. Click, just randomize it. Move 2 frames. Click close. Move 2 frame. Click open. Move 2 frame. Close. Move 2 frame. Then 2. So if we check here, guys, you see we have some animation, some lip sync here. So you see the mouth should be moving while the character is playing. So if we want him to continue speaking, we could just cycle the last keyframe there. So you can see our character will just keep talking. Okay, so that's it, guys. We've done some, we've set up our face for a lot of things. So in the next video, we'll learn how we can record an audio in Moho and then start working on how to do proper lip syncing.